Alright everyone, I'm back yet again to give you my Walking Dead review. And this was a big episode. Um, some major stuff went down in this episode, and I thought that was awesome. So let's get into it. This is Season 4, Episode 8, and it's called Too Far Gone, and it came out on December 1st, 2013. And it starts out with Philip talking to his group, and I guess he's the leader of his group now. And they talk about how they need to survive, so they're gonna take over the prison of that Rick and all them have, and it's so everyone can be safe because this isn't what he thinks what they have isn't really a safe place. So then, what happens? Oh, so he says that he's taken two of them hostage, and we find out that Michonne and Herschel were burning the bodies that they had killed from before, and um, Philip jumps him. He hits Michonne off the head, and Herschel was gonna shoot him, but I guess he couldn't bring himself to shoot him, so they got kidnapped. And then it cut right to the theme song, and Herschel and Philip pretty much makes up these lies about how they killed his daughter. Well, technically that's true, I guess, because Michonne did kill his daughter. Um, but he talked about how he burnt Woodbury down to the ground, which really he did, and how how some of them are good people, but others aren't. And then and he says that they're gonna invade the city, and Tara says she's in, and yeah, it was good. Um, and then Lily heard all of this, and she didn't like it. She thought that they don't think it's a good idea to kill these people, but Philip says all she wants to do is get Lily in a safe place, get him in a safe spot, and that was awesome. So then he goes into a camper where Michonne and Herschel, and he says there doesn't have to be any shooting. They'll give it up willingly if they see that they have their people. And Herschel says that we can work this out. Um, our people can come live together. Um, Rick and we could all live together. We can live peacefully, but Philip doesn't want to go for it because he knows that him and Rick can't live in the same roof because they don't like each other. That it would be anarchy. So then he even says that he thanks Michonne, I guess, for killing his daughter because he knew that she was already dead to begin with. And then and he even said that Herschel's a good man, and Herschel realizes that he's changed since Woodbury. And Herschel asked him, "Could you kill anybody else? Um, could you kill could you kill your father? You know what it's like to be a father. Could you kill one of my? How could you kill one of my daughters?" And Philip says, "Because it's not my daughters." So then it was a good answer. So then Lily's like, "We don't need to stay here. The walkers can't even get past the water." So then which was a good point, but Philip says that he just wants a secured wall where they can't get through and where they can live. So then we see Megan, who's making mud pies, and they give each other a hug goodbye, and this becomes very important actually. So then they go back to the prison, and we see Glenn and Maggie. Glenn's fine. He's still sick, but he's better than he was when we last saw him. And what happens is Glenn says it's almost one of these days it's going to be their 1 year anniversary, and he's going to get himself some water, and Maggie said that she would get it. And then Rick tells Daryl what happened with Carol, and he says that Daryl and Daryl says, why didn't you have to send her off like that? He's just pissed about it, pretty much, what I was expecting him to be. And he pretty much gives the same reason that we wouldn't want to hear, and how they're going to take care of the little girls. And now they have to tell Tyrese about it. And they go to tell him about it. And Tyrese shows them there was like a heart inside the vent or something. And he's like, the person who probably did that killed David and, the other person. And Rick goes to tell him what really happened, and then we hear a tank go off, and we see something go on outside, and Philip and his group arrive. We're on with Mitch, Tara, and I think that's about it. And he wants to talk to Rick, because he was because at the time he was the leader, and Rick says that he doesn't make these decisions anymore. I'm not the leader. We have a council now. If you could talk to them. And he's like, Herschel and Michonne part of it. So he brings them out, and their arms are tied behind their back, and then their hands are tied behind their back, and so there's some guys pointing guns at them. So then he eventually has to go out there and talk to them. And I think he said too that, and I think he's gonna maybe be the leader again too. And then he says that if something goes wrong, he wants them to get all the sick people and the kids on the bus. So he goes to talk to Philip, and Philip says, pretty much says that he's gonna give them till sunset to leave the prison, and because we have a family here that can work that they need, and you guys are murderers. And he talks about how he hasn't forgotten about Woodbury and all that stuff. When the kids go to leave, by the way, the prison, they're like, and they left with Judith, and they're like, and Lizzie says, why are we leaving? Kayla says we need to be strong. Let's fight back. So they go to grab guns, and everyone grabbed a gun too. And Carl even says that, why don't I just kill the governor why don't I just kill Philip right now? I have a good shot, and I can see him. But then Rick says that we can all live together. We can all live in peace. You guys can go in your own cell block. I could be in mine. We never have to see each other. But Philip won't go for that. He wants them to leave. And walkers come up and he shoots them. And he says that the more that keeps happening, walkers will come. And it's going to be more dangerous for you guys to leave. And they said that he only has about an hour of sunset left. Because maybe they go by the time right now where it gets dark at like 4 o'clock. So then, Rick says they could all live together. We could all come back from this. You guys can all lower your guns. We could walk through, and you could be one of the members of ours, and you'd be your own leader. And we could all pretty much be good people. And Philip doesn't want to go for this. He says liar, and he had a sword at Herschel's neck, and he cuts Herschel's head off. Halfway off. And it was actually pretty gruesome. Eventually Rick goes no, and Beth and Maggie are all upset, and everyone starts shooting, and Herschel then he completely cuts Herschel's head off afterwards. He kills Herschel, which was actually I made pretty sad because I liked Herschel. I thought he was a good person and didn't deserve any of this. And it was kind of sad that he had to be a part of this. This actually made me too hate the governor. So, I mean, I liked him before. He was a smart guy. I thought he was a good villain. And this made him a good villain, but this made me hate him because I liked Herschel. So then, and what I liked about it too was when he continued to cut Herschel's head off, that it showed Maggie and Beth upset. So it really made this scene more because that's his daughters. And Taylor, I don't think wants to go for this. He thinks that Philip is sick. He's twisted. So Alicia is like, okay, I'll go find you afterwards and we'll cover you. Um, and then I forgot to mention this. Lily was at the lake watching, and I actually thought she was gonna find Pete in the water, but it didn't happen. And a walker tries to get across the water, and she and he doesn't make it. And Lily kept asking her mother, and Megan kept asking her mother to help them dig these mud pies because the dirt was getting heavy. And she finds a sign, and then a walker comes up and bites her. And Lily doesn't get there in time, so she shoots it. And so later on, Lily had come up with dead um, Megan, who was, I think, going to turn into a walker. So Philip shoots her. And then it gets into this big shootout, which was awesome with Rick's with Rick, Daryl, and Rick's group and Philip's group, and it gets into this big shootout, which was awesome. And during the shootout, Rick attacks the governor, attacks Philip, which I thought was awesome because it made perfect sense considering the fact that you know considering the fact that Philip killed Herschel, who was like one of his best friends. He told him everything. Herschel got him through some tough times, and they get into this big brawl. And I'll talk to you a little. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But then everyone's shooting. Tyrese is shooting. Sasha, Bob, Sasha had thanked earlier, and I think he didn't want to accept a thank you because he really went and got alcohol. And Maggie and Beth get everybody on the bus, even Glenn, and he wanted to help, but he couldn't. And then Beth needed to get Judith. She forgot to get Judith. So she goes to get her. And Bob gets a wound on him, so they have to go fix him, and the bus leaves before they can, and they're going to find a safe place to do that. Tyrese is being shot at, and the kids actually save Tyrese. They shoot the guy, Taylor, and somebody else in the head, which was awesome. And the kids walk off. Daryl was shooting at people, and a walker came up to him that he killed. And then he uses the walker as a shield to kill and throws a grenade at people. And it blows up and kills them. I thought that was awesome. And people are turning into walkers too. So there's walkers now. And I thought that was cool that Daryl used that. It was smart. What else happens? Rick continues beating. Rick and Dale are still fighting. No, Rick and Philip are still fighting, and Dale headbutts Rick, so he's able to get the upper hand, and he starts pounding on him. And Rick becomes a bloody mess, and Michonne eventually saves him by stabbing Philip, and eventually he's like, "Where's Carl?" Because he's looking for Carl, and he's calling his name, and we see Carl come out and kill two walkers, and they look for Judith. And we see her car seats, but we don't see her. She's not in it. So I guess then she ended up dying, which was actually pretty sad. So everyone's all sad, and Carl starts shooting at a walker, and he kept shooting at it because he was so distraught. And they leave the prison, and then eventually Lily kills Philip. And Carl and Rick leave, and Rick tells Carl not to look back. And now the prison's all destroyed. Walkers are walking towards it. And, so now I guess it's back to square one for Rick and all them. Because, they lost the prison. That was their safe spot. Now they don't have that anymore. So, that was it. And this was a big episode. This was an awesome episode. No, there's a lot. I mean, there was a lot to talk about. Big stuff happened. But, a lot of it was the shooting, so I can't really talk to you. I talked about the highlights. And Dale even put a grenade into the tank that they had and blew him up and shot Mitch with the crossbow. And that was awesome. This was a big episode this week. Well, this episode, because I didn't watch, because this is the same week. And it was awesome. And makes me wonder what's going to happen the next episode, because I don't really expect a lot to happen. I expect a lot of downtime since this big stuff happened. But this episode changed a lot, because now the prison's destroyed. Philip's finally dead. He finally got his. And it made sense who killed him, that Michonne and Lily killed him, because Michonne saw him what he was like in the beginning. She knew exactly what he was like, and she was suspicious when she came to Woodbury with Andrea. She knew the second that she saw Philip that he was bad, and yeah, he continued to be bad. So I liked that Michonne got to get her comeuppance on him, and even though technically she already did when she killed Penny, Philip's daughter. And now there's going to be no Herschel next episode, which is going to probably be a blow, because it's not going to, it's going to hurt the, I don't know, I mean, it's not going to hurt the season, because the series, but it's kind of going to suck without him, because I liked him, and he was like the voice of reason. So yeah, I just wonder what's going to happen the next episode, and I'm going to see what happens the next episode. I don't really expect a lot. I expected a lot of downtime, considering the fact that they had this big explosion. I wonder if they're going to name the next move. So let's see what happens.